all you cool crooks and killers. Welcome back to True Crime Now. If you can't get your fill of true crime like the rest of us, you've come to the right place. Today, we'll be counting down 10 male celebrities that you didn't know were criminals. If you like what you see, make sure to like and subscribe for your daily dose of True Crime Now. Number 10. Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid is most well known for playing the role of dim-witted yet lovable Cousin Eddie in the National Lampoon's Vacation movies. Since then, he has had quite a few bizarre run-ins with the law over the years. Supposedly, the majority of his legal trouble stemmed from his conspiracy theory that there is a secret society of people who are targeting and killing celebrities. Since 2009, Quaid and his wife have been arrested multiple times on charges including leaving a hotel without paying, causing extensive damage to a property, and attempting to flee the country after being charged with felony. Canada quickly extradited Quaid and his wife back to California after they realized who they were at the border. Quaid and his wife seem to stand firm in their beliefs. Maybe he's not so different from Cousin Eddie in real life. You think that crime was crazy? Wait until you hear the number one male celebrity you didn't know was a criminal. Number 9. 50 Cent. You likely only know Curtis James Jackson III as his stage name, 50 Cent. He is no stranger to the life of a criminal as he self-reportedly started selling drugs at the incredibly young age of 12. He was first arrested in 1994 for unknowingly selling drugs to a police officer. He was arrested again just weeks later when a large amount of drugs and illegal weapons were found in his home. He initially faced a maximum sentence of 9 years in prison, but he only ended up serving 6 months in boot camp. Talk about getting off easy. 50 Cent was arrested numerous other times both prior to and during his lucrative career with charges ranging from criminal possession of firearms to 3 counts of assault and battery when he lost his temper on audience members at his own concert. While there were even more arrests to come in his future pertaining to domestic violence, 50 Cent has never served any significant jail time after his initial arrest all the way back in 1994. Number 8. Tim Allen. Tim Allen has created a persona through his TV and movie performances as a well-rounded, good guy, family man who's just like you and me. With all his family-friendly content, you might be shocked to find out that he spent over 2 years in federal prison for drug trafficking. When he was first arrested, he had nearly 1.5 pounds of cocaine on him. Due to a newly approved law, Allen was actually facing a sentence of life in prison. To avoid this, he agreed to rat out 20 drug dealers. I'd say going from a jail cell to a millionaire certainly qualifies as a home improvement. Number 7. Robert Downey Jr. Well, before his time playing a superhero, Robert Downey Jr. seemed more like someone Iron Man would be fighting off. In 1996, Downey Jr. partook in his fair share of criminal activity. To start, he was pulled over for speeding and later found to be in possession of both cocaine and heroin. Less than a month later, he was arrested again on charges of narcotics possession and trespassing. He was found unconscious in his neighbor's home in just his underwear. He later claimed that he had simply made a mistake and thought it was his house, even though his actual residence was 17 houses away. I wonder how that neighbor reacted to the Iron Man movies all those years later. Number 6. Bruno Mars. While many of his songs are about having fun and partying, many Bruno Mars fans probably don't know that this singer was once arrested for partying a little too hard. Back in 2010, Mars was found to have almost 3 grams of white powdery substance on him at the Hard Rock Casino in Las Vegas. The substance was later confirmed to be cocaine, and with that amount on him, Mars was facing a felony drug charge. While being interviewed, Mars brought up the fact that this was his first encounter with the law and claimed that it was his first time that he had ever even used cocaine. Whether or not the police believed him, they let him off easy and the charges eventually were dismissed altogether. How's that for dodging a grenade? We're halfway through our countdown and it's time for an honorable mention. While he legally was not committing a crime, David Letterman revealed to his audience on The Late Show in 2009 that he was being blackmailed and extorted for millions of dollars because of affairs he was having with many of his female staff. The blackmailers threatened to reveal everything if Letterman didn't pay up, so instead, he just told everyone himself. Let us know if you'd want to see a video counting down more bizarre extortion of celebrities. Now back to the countdown. Number 5. Matthew Broderick. When most of us think of Matthew Broderick, we think back to harmless Ferris Bueller just taking the car out for a little fun. Most don't realize that Broderick was involved in a much more serious motor vehicle incident back in 1987 that ended the lives of a mother and her daughter in the other vehicle involved in the collision. Broderick and his passenger only suffered minor injuries, and the deaths of the two women were determined to be the fault of Broderick, who was charged with reckless driving. He had the potential to serve up to 10 years in prison. The family of the two women who had died were furious to find out that Broderick would not only serve no jail time, but ultimately would only have to pay a minuscule fine of $175. Number 4. Boy George. While being outlandish may be part of his professional persona, no one expected such an odd arrest charge for this celebrity. According to reports, in 2007, George was accused and convicted of falsely imprisoning a male escort. The man reported being handcuffed to a bed and beaten by George repeatedly with a metal chain. George claimed that the attack was payback for the man hacking into his computer and stealing personal information. With this in mind, jurors determined that the attack was indeed premeditated, and George received a sentence of 15 months in jail. While he was released almost a year early, George was required to wear an ankle monitor the entirety of his sentence. This charge majorly stalled George's career, but he has been making several attempts to get back into the good graces of the public through being a judge on The Voice UK and releasing new music on his YouTube channel. Number 3. Jay-Z. While I think we can all agree that cheating on Beyonce should be punishable by law, that's not the crime we're referring to here. Back in 1999, while attending a party to celebrate a fellow artist's album release, the CEO of Entertainment would be stabbed violently multiple times by none other than Jay-Z himself. After turning himself in for the felony assault charges, Jay-Z was facing up to 15 years in prison. With an excellent lawyer on his side, Jay-Z was ultimately sentenced to just 3 years of probation in 2001. Just think how different his life and the music industry could have been had his sentencing gone the other way. Number 2. Mark Wahlberg. Many people don't know or perhaps have even forgotten that Mark Wahlberg served jail time in 1988 after being charged with attempted murder that was determined to be racially charged. While attacking two Vietnamese men to the point of unconsciousness, many eyewitnesses reported that Wahlberg was screaming multiple racial slurs throughout the course of the beating. While he was ultimately only convicted of assault, many believe the sentence of 45 days in prison was not nearly harsh enough, as Wahlberg committed a similar racially driven assault on two African American children 2 years prior. Alright, you've waited for it, but before we reveal number 1, make sure to like our video and subscribe to our channel if you want to continue to get your daily dose of true crime now. Make sure to turn on notifications or else we'll put the frame on ya. Number 1. Johnny Cash. Many of you might be surprised to know that Johnny Cash was found guilty in a court of law after being sued by the federal government for starting a California wildfire in 1965. The fire destroyed over 500 acres of land and killed 49 California condors, an extremely endangered species. Cash claimed that the fire was started accidentally when his truck malfunctioned and thus never really accepted blame for the event. Cash was found guilty and was ordered to pay over $125,000 to the federal government, although they later settled for a smaller sum of around $82,000. I'd say that gives a whole new meaning to the song Ring of Fire. Alright, well, we had some surprising celebrities make this list, ranging from Cousin Eddie to the Man in Black. What other celebrities do you think should be on this list? Make your suggestions for part 2. Until next time, Don't be embarrassed to sleep with the light on.